Mapping Museums is an interdisciplinary research project that is funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council. It began in 2016, will finish in 2020, and involves researchers from museum studies, geography, history and computer science. The UK museum sector massively expanded during the late 20th century. Many of the new museums were small, independent, and were established by community and special interest groups, by individuals, families and businesses. Apart from that, we know very little about the museums boom, and so the Mapping Museums project is documenting and analysing that expansion in numbers. When we began the project, there was no single list of museums in the UK, and no records of which museums had closed. The Mapping Museums team set out to compile that information, a task that required considerable archival research. We collated historical and contemporary datasets from Arts Council England, Museums and Galleries Scotland, the Association for Independent Museums, and many other organisations. We also consulted historic guidebooks, museum websites, Wikipedia and TripAdvisor. We then developed new ways of defining and classifying museums and worked with museum professionals to check and refine the data. We have now produced an authoritative dataset of all UK museums from 1960 until the present day.
This process of data collection has fed in parallel into the design of a database that is searchable according to factors such as museum location, year of opening, subject matter, size, governance, and accreditation. The database supports three main facilities: browse, search, and visualize. Browse allows users to navigate through the database in a structured way, through the categories of accreditation, governance, location, size, subject classification, year of opening, and year of closing. The results can be viewed on a map or in a list view. Users can also select a museum to see full details of the data that we hold about it. Search allows users to set up their own queries over a broad range of attributes of museums. Users specify one or more filters that can be combined to create complex search criteria. The museum's attributes that are returned in the results can also be specified by the user. And the results can again be viewed on a map or in a list or in detail for each museum. Visualize allows users to view the number of museums that are open at a given point in time, and to view the data broken down by categories of governance, subject matter, size, and location. Similar facilities are available to show museum closures over time. We can also compare openings and closings on one graph. Finally, we can use a heat map to cross-tabulate pairs of categories, for example subject matter versus location, to see in which parts of the country different types of museums occur most frequently. From a computing perspective, we have adopted an iterative agile methodology to develop the database and the facilities that it supports. We have opted to implement the database in the form of an RDF store or triple store, conforming to an RDFS ontology. This allows us to easily evolve both the data and the conceptual model of the database.
The web application has a three-tier architecture using JavaScript for the client and Python Flask for the server side. The application code is driven by the conceptual model of the database, so if the model changes, which it has continually been doing over the past 2 years, I have not had to change the code. This data-driven approach has made it possible to iterate frequently and develop the system within the planned timescale.
This project offers the opportunity to draw a comprehensive geography of museums in the UK for the first time. We are placing each museum in its context of region, district, city and neighbourhood. By cross-referencing museum data with socioeconomic indicators from the Office for National Statistics, we are gaining novel insights into possible factors underlying the creation or closure of museums.
In the second phase of the research project, we are now using the database to identify patterns in the emergence, development and closure of museums. And we are seeking to account for those trends through historical and interview-based research.